as he may consume. To the gentleman from Ohio, the sponsor of the bill, Mr. Wenstrup.
The gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of this bill, my bill, with Mr. Krishnamurthy, my friend, the BIOSECURE Act, which passed the Oversight Committee by an overwhelming bipartisan support vote of 40-1. This legislation is a critical piece in our broader efforts this week to protect Americans, and in this case, their personal health data from the Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party does not get due process in America. The BIOSECURE Act will help ensure the biological data of American patients and make sure that their data does not fall into the hands of our adversaries. We do this by prohibiting federal contracting with biotechnology companies of concern, companies and their subsidiaries that have overt and enduring ties with the CCP, or even using the equipment and services of these very companies. Our government has acted to keep the CCP out of our telecommunication networks and communication platforms. Now we must act to keep them away from our genomic and health data. China has publicly stated their desire to dominate the global biotechnology market by 2035. This is incredibly concerning given the Chinese Communist Party's national intelligence laws, which require Chinese firms to share any requested data with the CCP. The existence of that law is enough to drive us forward with this bill, because that law includes biotech companies that collect, test, and store American genomic data. That's why they are named, because that is the risk to the American people and our national security. This legislation affects companies like the Beijing Genomics Institute, known as BGI, a Chinese company that's collected DNA from millions around the world and used that data without consent for genomic projects conducted by the Chinese military. A 2021 Reuters report found DNA data collected from BGI's prenatal test on women outside China has also been stored in China's government-funded gene database. Another Chinese company, Wuxi AppTec, has sponsored events with China's military, reportedly with IP reportedly stolen from the U.S., and jointly operated genetic collection sites with Chinese military. Further, as was mentioned before, the chairman of Wuxi AppTec is a board member of Wuxi Biologics and a known member of the CCP. And he's publicly mentioned many times about the central role of the CCP in Wuxi Group's activities. We have worked to ensure this bill provides an appropriate and workable off-ramp for American companies and our government to decouple with CCP-aligned biotech firms. This is about protecting Americans from an adversary that will leave no stone unturned to get an upper hand over the United States of America and our people. Time and time again, these biotech companies have proven they are more than willing to do the bidding of the CCP. It's a proven relationship. We can't at the same time allow them to collect the private health information of millions of Americans. I've spent 25 years as an Army physician and combat surgeon. I spent 10 years now on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Guess what? We don't bring our adversaries in for questioning. It doesn't work that way. As a matter of fact, when I've tried to do that, Mr. Speaker, on the Select Subcommittee on the pandemic, I asked the Chinese ambassador about certain scientists in China we would like to speak to. They didn't respond. It's time for Congress to take this step towards securing our national health security for every person in America, in every district of America. This is no joke, and it's just a start. It really needs to be just a start. And when my colleague said that he's not against this bill just only because he has a company he wants to build in his district, but I guess it must be one of his reasons. He said it's not the only reason. I applaud the bipartisan work of the Select Subcommittee on China on their serious efforts, and I strongly urge my colleagues to support this bipartisan legislation. With that, I yield back.
The gentleman from Ohio yields. The gentleman from Kentucky